Rayanyag ti Lugosor, programa ngagserbi kamang kenrang tayo iti gobyerno probinsyal. Lalo na, iti beneg iti sanggo niyang panlalawigan ti probinsya ng Lugosor. Mangted tinanay ng informasyon kadagiti programa, proyektos, tulong ken mga sister kadagiti ang problema nga OFW ang kalugaran tayo. Rayanyag ti Lugosor. Tinagaget, Produktibo Presiding Officer, the busy Governor of the Province of Ilocos, Ryan Luis Singson, our main anchor, Ken Lito Javier, our co-anchor, Ryan Nyag Tilocosor, at tuyen ngagsubli ngagserbi kada kayo, ang sipod, tada kayo, ti inspirasyon mi, Ryan Nyag Tilocosor, da kayo, ti inspirasyon mi.
Hello, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Ilocosorian. April 17 tata, Wednesday apo. Alak musta kayo amin, awan labas na, sapay lang kumat at piyakin karad ka, dada kayo apo, tisang wanan television nyo, through Iloco Heritage Channel, Facebook Live, pakipalo da kami apo, then share da kami papagayam. Ken kastameten apo, Eagle Vision Cable TV. Good morning, iti programa Rayanyag ti Lugosor, babayan kini apo busy Gobernador Ryan Singson, at tuy kami apo nga umay agserbi manen kada kayo iti nga oras. Laket nay, nakabarbara, back to school po ngayon. Kasi nalpas day jay 15 and 16 apo nga awan iti klase, iti elementarya ken sekundarya, pakairamanan apo iti beneg, iti K-12 papagayam. Dito'y probinsya tayo nga Ilocosor because of this heat wave. Then tatta, agmi-meeting dagiti amin na po nga mangisorsoro, kadagiti na dumaduma nga pagadalan, ta diskasen da po no kas anuda nga patarayen iti eskwela iti daytoy kabara iti panawon. Dagiti daduma, insapsapa da po iti time in. Dan sapay sumrek iti alas 6, sumrek ti 6:30. Tapno nasapsapa da nga agawid dati mga 10 o'clock. Kasta nga talaga mga kaibigan, adjustment apo iti kasapulan. No kastoy nga tiyempo iti rigat. Siyempre, makita yo mait, kanayon na po ti brown out. Halos scheduled ti brown out ti minalem. Dito'y Pilipinas, gagayam ka na po kailian. Yeah? Gapwanan apo iti daytoy kabara ti panawon, kambimaba apo iti water dump level. Idi kalman, papagayam, niya oras nga nag-brown out, idi kalman, I think, alas 3 ba dahil nag-brown out di kalman? Alas 4, ingana ti oras ti alas 6. Mga kaibigan, awang kuryente. Halos kasjayan apo iti scheduled, iti brown out dito'y Pilipinas, lalo dito'y probinsya tayo nga Ilocosor. Wanuhan, i-rotate da. Meaning, daging nga oras ti ay malem, kaado ti agusar ti kuryente, iso nga i-shutdown da apo ti power. Ket no agusar ka ti generator, nakangingina apo iti generator, ti diesel, papagayam, nya mo. Mano ba dito ayan tayo, no ag generator tayo ditoy, halos times 2 ti bayadan tayo ti kuryente ditoy. Ditoy nya, halos times 2, ditoy Eagle Vision, papagayam. So nga, ag-shutdown damot, gagayam kina po kailian. But anyway, di kita kit habmet apong datay laing no di kit di sapasap. As radical man, nasapa nga nag-warning, diya kamutatan, niya ti schedule man na po ti brown out, nasapa nga nag-warning nga po ti biyang iti National Grid Corporation, kanayon iti brown outan, aasahan po natin na ado apo iti brown out schedule nga intay maranasan. Apay, iti biyang ti National Grid Corporation, kuana po, iwaras na, adalenda, dayay oras nga kaado ti agusar ti kuryente. Nya, bawasan da basate. Kasi apo ti mangyari gagayam kinapokil, kasi overloading tayo. Ti peak season, peak hour apo ti agusar iti kuryente, mga kaibigan, no maminsan na po, dayay kastoy nga oras, tengatal daw, kasjay, rabii, papagayam. So, kitain da ayan iti parte, nga hanunay nga mausar iti kuryente, kasla ko manita oras ti alas 4 ti malam, ingganang oras apo ti alas 6, papagayam, tigiyay. Amuyo ka di, kang runaan nga maapektaran ditoy. Dagitay skilled worker, nga gusto sarti kuryente, papagayam, datayo, no nag-brown out, dito'y Ilocosur, nag-brown out, dito iliti bantay, ori no adda generator mi, agandar jay generator, papagayam, ngem awan apo iti mabuyayo, kasi nakapsot na jay kable, nakapsot apo jay generator iti Eagle Vision, so awan mabuyayo dita, awan pay iti wifi, papagayam, kusto, tama po yun. Kaya, awan wifi kasi brown out amin, PLDT, amin. So nga, ano dadoma, agree kayo, pay awan mo ti signal yo, di da kayo mo't mabuya. Pasensya po kayo because of brown out scheduled, mga kaibigan. Kasta tata dito pagilyante nga Pilipinas, apo. Ya, hantayo apo nga libaken. Okay. No aduman da giti agandar nga kuryente generator. Apay dama kuryente dito, adama kasi adda generator da. Ngam times 2 times 3 ti gastos no agaramat ka po ti generator set papagayam. Kasya apo ti sitwasyon, ya. So hindi kalman, na-experience tayo alas 4, 3:13 sa nagawang kuryente, ingana ti alas 6 iti rabii, mga kaibigan, ya. Oh. So dadya po niya, may play milat tama dagiti programs mi ditoy laeng awan iti live na. Di ba kara? Hantayo nga makapag-live. Hanyo mabuya apo dit abroad. Dito sabali apo nga probinsya, handa kami mabuyan. Agpatingga kami lang dito yun. Siguro iliti bantay narigat pay. Oh, so nga iti problema pay kitam ti schedule Dagi schedule tayo. Iti NGCP. Siyempre no kanayon nga generator ti aramaten tayon. Alita na, hindi pa nagdaktel ti bayadan ti kuryenten. Po kailian. Okay? So, nagita po, iti problema tatta, iti pagilyante nga Pilipinas, iti probinsya ting Ilocosur, ewan ko lang, no, niya ti schedule tatangal daw, gagayam ka na po kailian. Okay? Amuyo nga mina po, nakabarbara ti pagilyante nga Pilipinas itata, kat agandar amin nga electric pan, agandar amin na po nga generator dita, agandar amin na po nga aircon, agsasabay, gagayam ka na po kailian, papanan na po, kaya nagbasit ti load, iti kuryente nga umumay dito ayan tayo, kapilitan mga kaibigan nga shutdown da. Kasi apo iti explanation tayo, tinay ito'y panag-brown out, gagayam kaya na po kailian. So nga tibiyang iti eskwela, agsubli iti eskwela itata, kaduan na half day laang, at nasumrek talas 6, ingano da talas 10. Kasi gagayam kaya na po kailian. Mostly ti malem, awan ti malem, napudot ngamin. Aglalo nababaa po ti bobong ti eskwela, papagayam. So nga mapektaran na gito bing tayo. Agasam na ti sakit tata, nose bleeding. Anapay, dagi agrashes da, dagi tay nga pang tawag mo na yan, datay bungang araw, mga kaibigan, di ba? Nagatel, di bagi, dagi jay. Okay? So nga adalen nga nasyan apo itibiyang iti DepEd. Adalin da po nga nasiyat itibiyang iti DepEd, mga kaibigan. Kanya amay, okay lang deta nga adalin da nga nasiyat. Huwag lang nga mapektaran mat apo iti panag na ti trabaho. Okay? Nagitay ag-opisina. Ada mo opisina yo. Ada mo pag-opisina nyo. Nga mamuy iti pag-opisina ni tata, na makasliding nga, lokatam lang di bentana, okay kan, kontento kan, hamay. Lokatam lang di electric paneng, kontento kan, han. Awang pa iti computer. Kasi iti computer sets mo, intended deta nga talaga nga naka-design para iti dayjay kung natayo nga naka-aircon, mga kaibigan. Kailangan nga dahil kita computer tata, malamlamiisan lata nga diretsyo nita, mapaypaypayan nga diretsyo. Digya pa nga daduma nga computer sets niya pang tawag mo detan. Deta may saan? Anya pang tawag mo, di computer rin. Nya parte ti machine di computer detan. Deta buo. Deta ni. CPU. Deta CPU no gatanga mga kaibigan, built-in dagi adapan na. Nyam ti obrayan dagi ti daddoma. Dagi pan ni nga batti dijay, ikan na ti daktel ka na pigpigsahan. Adaw pa nga magatang, tano mapalidan nga mapalamiis nga na siya, digigi materyales di uneg. Kasjay apo, so nga doon doma, barbaro pa lang, warware da, installan da. Yeah? Adalang arpaid na yun again, dapat nakatutok pa lang ti electric fan. O, kasi siyempre nagiyay, papagayam, no nagdadail ngay, ta CPU mo, dito CPU mo, nagitay pang AutoCAD, pang gaming, mano nagiyay, 100,000 up, kaya no naksik ngay, di ba? So nga hanga mabalin nga haan nga ag aircon kada ag electric fan dagita nga computer. Mas bale nga sika nga tao nga hanggang ag aircon or ag electric fan no da computer di sangwanam dagiti mapapaidan dagiti computer mo. Tangamin no nakse dayjay ag stop to operation. Papagayam. Kas di apot kayit nang asawain. So nga tatta siyempre no opisina kayo lukat kiti opisina from 8 inggan na ti alas 5 aglalo ka non-break policy tayo dito in Pilipinas. Hamalangan apong 8 oras no di 10 hours matime mga kaibigan 10 hours nga agtay-tayo deta 10 hours nga agkot-kote. Kasi apo ti sitwasyon mga kaibigan. So nga kelalaan tayo adomat ti madadail no. Once nga nadadail na kita nga computer sets yun apo adadami nagigi files yo madelay ti trabaho, agsubli tayo po yung mano-mano, nagrigat tagbiro, kita man, deta yi kwa dita, mapangkadyan ti kwa, file C, das E, ada iya kita mjanagan na nilito Javier diya, kung ala, kastantong kapumpang papel, mga kaibigan la, kita to diya, ay, po Mario Josep, siyam-siyam, diba? Yung computer, click mo lang, no dinunta tinang iprogramam diya files mo, click mo, kita am diya yan, 2020, no ko naman ko mga kaibigan, yung file ni Lito Javier, 2020, si Brat di IHC dito ide. Kita no diyan kay 3 years mo gaya man, Sir Lito, kung kunan to ni Kara diyan, mga kaibigan, makita nanto diyan. Kaya di po ba? Ganon. Check, kunan to. Nay, Sir Lito, kastoy gayam tinornong mga sales mo, tinornos ti talo nga tao mo ti IHC, kung kunan to diyan, makita na amin, makuntar na mga kaibigan, ganon. Kasi dapail tayo dijay, di po ba? Kasi di ka importante na gito yung nga gamit, itata. Kumpara kaya mapangkaya mano-mano, di ba? So nga na kita, ori pinibagam nga, bawal ti ag-overload. Dati ko mga opisina, sangapulo ko mga computer sets ti agigidan. Bawal ti agigidan nga computer. Hamo mabaling nga ibaga ti kasjay kasi masapol for every division, di ti opisinam, at dati kanya-kanyang trabaho da. Mga kaibigan, anyang nga tibagam lang nga raw. Ay, di computer, dito'y lang nga parte Dito'y lang, Division A. Da kayo, Division B, C, F, G, H, I, J. Stop muna kayo. Rotation. Unang nga raw, madelay ti trabaho. So nga, kaslan mapang kajibang ko. Hamo mabaling ibaga nga jibang ko. Timang pa yung computer line kay jimen ayan ni manager. Hamo mabaling ibaga ti kasjay. Adamo di Taylor, adumat ti mapandiyay po agirwar, mga kaibigan. Mapangkayabang ko pala sa mga idepend ta computer, idepend ta aircon, agriri di gijay client mo, di ba? Nagbara di bang kuyaw, kas lalaka, wang kwartayo. Ganon. Mapangkabadyenti ko, sorry po, offline, di ba? Offline, hantayo nga po nga makatransak, apayang offline, awang kuryente, Gmail. Sus Mario Josep, dagiyat impact na, mga kaibigan, no awan ti kuryente. So nga tata, panagin inot, panawon ti panagin inot, ti kuryente, mga kaibigan, amoy na ito, halang nga dito, madamdama, baka di pangato daman ti singir ti kuryenten. Papagayam, nagriga mo ngamin tagin inot, aglalo no na irwam ka di balayaw, nagususar ka ti aircon, computer, aircon kendeta electric fan, hangkade. Mario Josep, na taon tulangan, mga kaibigan. Agerkon na kakapapa na, ginto no nagawid ak ti malam, agerkon na tuman nga maturugan. Say, gasam nagigya apo nga paggastuan, gagayam ken na po kay liyan. Iso nga, dito apo, ti payong kapatid. Okay? Agi inanos tayo, nadaman apo ti konting adjustment, dito ayan tayo mga kaibigan, because of this. Maranaranasan tayo apo tatang kinabara iti panawan. Idi kalman ti hit index, 44! Diya kamo tatano, manumanan na po ti prediction iti biyang iti pag-asa. Nakabarbara iti panawan. Talaga, gagayam ka na po kay liyan. So nga, nagriga nga panunutan. One, alakit, dito kailangan po, ipalo na kami, Iloco Heritage Channel, Facebook Live, then i-share yo, Da kayo nga buy-buya man iti programa Ranyag Tilo Kusor, ipalo da kami. When Melita, good morning. Musta ka dita Canada? Amok ag buy-buya kay tata. Don't you worry, balbaliwan tanto DJ advertisement mo dito eh. Barbaring no may diretsyon tong palubos na po Diyos nya. Dito yung amin na lodging house na ket. So pamipasya rin madamdama kinikara. Tabalbaliwan mi DJ. Kuha na po DJ na panakay plastar na gito'y panakasimpa na. When, kaya dito'y meten na pagkarnabalan, dito'y bantay ng rugi idi 6 di kalman, mga kaibigan. Ay di 15, ng rugi sa di 15 when, di 15, ng rugi di 15. Laki kitak to, sobyanak to tata, barbaring no danto apo na gitay, barbaro nga set up tita gagayem ken apo kailan pagkarnabalan apo diti bantay supay nya no san di basi-basi thank you kada giti friend ko dita friendship laeng para ti sponsorship apo dito programa tayo Ranyag Tilo Kusor ken dito Iloco Heritage Channel magka-countdown na ba tayo kara sana hindi pa ano okay laki nya nga rod no te ko nada nga roden nga iso ti papananti amin mga kaibigan o mabalinan tayo one. Okay, basta't importante, nanindigan tayo dito sa programa natin, Ranyag Tilo Kusor, dito'y Iloco Heritage Channel, mga kaibigan. Kami may garantiya kada kayo apo, nagtultuloy kami, dito'y when no, saan ngam dumteng to ti tiyempo, nagpakada kami, kasyay. Or, iba gamit tumit lang nagtultuloy kami. Ganon, depende po yan sa management. Dito'y Ranyag tayo, tuloy-tuloy lang tayo ti Ranyag tayo. Mga kaibigan, or dinuntaman nga partendo ti probinsyang Ilocosor, no problem po yan. Basta danto lang tayo ti Ranyag ti Ilocosor, mga kaibigan. Okay, alaket idi kalman, naramid met apo ti regular session, nabalegi met, dito ibabati pa ng present na po Vice Gobernador Ryan Singson. Ya? Pagbitdalaan, tanapanda kami dyan natayan, dyan ni Marion. Tatatitabon ni Marion Tugade. Dati potot ni apo dating Mayor Mario Tugade. Dagiti kakadwa ni Apo Vice Gov Ryan Singson, dagiti board members, dagiti staff, iti SP, napanda amin. Siyak na udinak na napanak giti kalman. Alas 5 yung gananak ti alas 6 ti jay papagayam istorya. Ori lagsang-sangit ni Sir Mario, ni dating nga Mayor Mario Tugada, idi nakita nak, mga kaibigan. Nagsayang na yung ubingan ko na gagayam ka na po kailan. Nyamat tayo. Nya kamo no nya ti development na po dito kaso nga surusurutin dan ti damag-damag idi kalman dayi kanu magana dayi kanu na identify di nang maneho di motorsiklo kay natay kanu mo taon taga-abra kano Jesus Mario Joseph nya alin siguro gapot kinasika na dayi mo lang inyang kas na nga ri baka isuma lang ng patay kanya na tapnohang matuntunan papagayam nako grabe. So nga kita nyo, da kayo nga makikadkadwa kada kita killer. No mabulilyaso kayo, nyato Brenda, isakripisyo da kayo, patayin da kayo malaang. Ibagak kada kayo. Kita nyo na dyan napasamak kada dyan, mga kaibigan. Nagpesoan, dyan informasyon ko, marites ko. Gagayam ka na po kailan, ngam depende na tat intelligence. Nyati ko na niya po Vice Gobernador Ryan Singson, tataang agpakitang gilas, dagitay intel tayo nga pulis ko na nga rod. Mga kaibigan, so meaning dakkel po expectation nga po Vice Gobernador Ryan Singson itibiyang ti intel nga masulbar na gito'y kaso nga agsasaruno nga krimen apo dito'y probinsya tayo nga Ilocosor. Tagasem neta nagsasaruno nga shooting incident katawang meten na po iti development na, mga kaibigan, nga ibagada apo nga ipakamuda. Kita dito, no kasanon to apo nya. So condolence iti pamilya ni apo dating nga Mayor Mario Tugade dita ili iti kawayan. Papagayam, tatapo ti tabon na, I think tatay alas 8 ng rugi ti misa dita simbaan. Sa bagay ti balayda, dita lang ayan iti simbaan dita abagatan na nga mismo, di abay na mismo, mga kaibigan. Di ti balay apo dating nga Mayor Mario Tugade papagayam. Ya? Kakaisuna nga poto ng lalaki, talo poto na, 2 babae, may isang lalaki. Ubing pay, 29 na, mga kaibigan. Ya? Napapatay, napaltugan. 1 week ago, mga kaibigan. Grabe this. In a broad daylight, napapatay, mga kaibigan. Ewan ko lang kung ano po ang tamang dahilan. Depende deta na po ti investigasyonen. Nay media matan, nay patulpo pa yon, mga kaibigan. Yeah? Ewan ko lang. Nya kamo. Deta ba ti rason? Apay nga nabala sa apoy ti Chief of Police iti Bigan City. Mga kaibigan, hanga deta ti rason. No da pan nakabalina, pan nakabalasa. Dapat deta agi-stay put. Ingga na ti haan nga masulbar ko ma. Di ba nasisya ti kasya? At least ang muda po no nga soroten ti anggulo ti kaso, mga kaibigan. But anyway, murder case nito ya po. And the laeng nakakaskas nga lang nga po no may sakripisyo ti may isang biyag, gapulay nga po ti isang kabasi nga problema, pakairamramanan gagayem. Nya, lesson learned. Papigsain tayo po iti intelihensya, papigsain tayo po iti simpatya dagiti taong bayan, iti biyang ti kapulisan, tapno makuna nga to serve and protect. No kastoy lang ti mapaspasamak, siyempre ado madadael ti peace and order, madadael apo iti turismo dito'y probinsya tayong Ilocos, mga kaibigan, not only in Bigan, ano nga rod, pagdidinamagan da. No, ado matay, ado ti hanga masulbar, pagdidinamagan. Sino nga rod apo ti paragsakan. Amo yun dagitay gagayem ken kakabagyan tayo abroad. Amo ti kunada. Apay peaceful matlaang ditahan o agawid kami. Kung kunada, tagadtoy da pay nagadupay kabagyan da nga pagdamagan. Agdamag da pay la kanyak. Apay peaceful pay laeng manong litaw no agawid kami dita Pilipinas. Kung kunada, lalo ditayan tayo Tabigan City kung kunada piman. Meaning, adda ti panagama da. Tadagiti kastoy apo nga pasamak, gagayam kaya na po, kailan, hangkade, Isus Mario Josep, ayan. So, laman na po, pagtitinulungan tayo, kasi madagito yung naging biktima, mga kaibigan. Agsublite ito po, kalpasan di palagip, then BBM tayo, mga kaibigan.
Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives. Ti kooperatiba ano bayagin nga serbi kadang ti Ilocano iti amyanan a Luzon. Ti kooperatiba ang manpapaay ti serbisyo, benepisyo ken mangisakit kariti empleyado ken miyembro na. Ti Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives wano NSCC ket adon tinatulungan na. Babayin met iti namayat alangin-langin ken kooperasyon dagiti miyembro ken mangimatmaton. Adon tinagduroasan ti kooperatiba. Adupay dagiti naynayon ang kasdek, akas ti NSCC Farm, Chicharon Processing Facility, Macro Laboratory, kastameten ti NSCC Plaza, ken NSCC Business Center. Iso nga niya pelang ter orayam makikapengkan iti kadakilan a kooperatiba iti probinsya. Di Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives suman na NSCC. Imatmatunan na daytoy ni Dr. Gibina Kenny.
Mel Grills and Resto Bar, dati nga di farm, amasarakan sa Jai nagtupakan Santa Maria, Ilocos Sur. Nadalus na pintas, nalawa a Resto Bar, ken kangrunaan na, natalna ken napariir ti aglawlaw. Intayon agpalabas iti oras sa Jai, Mel Grill, Resto Bar, na imas dagiti makan, mapulutan, ken mamerienda, agsipod tanalaing dagiti chef da from Manila. Mel Grills Resto Bar ket napintas pay nga pakangayan iti kasar, bunyag, birthday ken dumapay nga okasyon. Nalawa napintas iti function hall ken nalawa pay iti parking area. Intayon sa Jai Mel Grills Resto Bar nagtupakan Santa Maria, Ilocos Sur. Owned and managed by the beautiful Lourdes Rapanot Robinson. For reservation, please contact cellphone number 0917-802-1173 and visit Facebook Mel Grill Resto Bar. Mel Grill Resto Bar!
Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives. Ti kooperatiba ano bayagin nga serbi kadang ti Ilocano iti amyanan a Luzon. Ti kooperatiba ang manpapaay ti serbisyo, benepisyo ken mangisakit kariti empleyado ken miyembro na. Ti Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives wano NSCC ket adon tinatulungan na. Babayin met iti namayat alangin-langin ken kooperasyon dagiti miyembro ken mangimatmaton. Adon tinagduroasan ti kooperatiba. Adupay dagiti naynayon ang kasdek, akas ti NSCC Farm, Chicharon Processing Facility, Macro Laboratory, kastameten ti NSCC Plaza ken NSCC Business Center. Iso nga niya pelang terorayem makikampingkan iti kadakilan a kooperatiba iti probinsya. The Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives suma na NSCC. Imat matunan na daytoy ni Dr. Gibina Kemi.
Melvin's Lodging House located at Sontri, Bantay, Ilocosur. Kung magbabakasyon ka sa vegan Ilocosur at ikaw ay naghahanap ng matutuluyan na maganda at malinis, magsadya at pumunta sa Melvin's Lodging House around 500 meters west of Bantay Bell Tower, 1 kilometer away from provincial capital Bigan City. Very affordable ang rate. May aircon, malinis ang kwarto, wide parking, rooftop overlooking Metro Vigan. May wifi, cable TV at higit sa lahat, tahimik ang lugar. Melvin's Lodging House located at Sontri, Bantay, Ilocosur. Come, relax and enjoy your vacation in Ilocosur. Stay at Melvin's Lodging House, Sontri, Bantay. For inquiries and reservation, please contact cellphone number 0926 615-5143 or 0926-672-2849 and Viber 64730-03595. Melvin's Lodging House.
Ang init naman dito sa kotse mo, pare koy.
Sira na naman kasi yung aircon niya eh.
Sira na naman? Di ba kapapaayos mo lang kahapon? Pare, punta ka na kay Elmer Romero ng Romero's Car Aircon. A real air conditioning expert. 100% guarantee. Nakatipid ka na? Aircon mo, long life pa. Kaya punta na sa Romero's Car Aircon. The Denso Authorized Service Center with well-trained technician of Denso Philippines. Hindi lang basta aircon. Romero's Car Aircon. Located at National Highway, Balaling, and Agay, Bantay, Ilocosur. For information, call or text 0939-922-8485.
Agsagsaga baka katitisukat. Saan na madanagang taddan ti Advanced Food Care Clinic ang masarakan ti abay mismo ti Northside Doctors Hospital, Gimod, Bantay, Ilocosur. Lahat ng sugat ay pwedeng maghilom. Ang ipaayda ti serbisyo para kadagiteg sagsagaba ti ulcer of arteria, lower extremity diseases, diabetic foot ulcer, pressure sores, traumatic wound, surgical site infections, skin wound from skin infections. The Advanced Wound Care Clinic katagususar dagiti quality equipment tapno masigurado ang maagasan dagiti sagsagabaan nyo asukat. Mas at-ado ti maited nga benepisyo ti Advanced Wound Care Clinic musika ket kwalipikado nga member ti PhilHealth. Para tinanang nga informasyon tumawag when text kayo ti 0936-920-9941. When i-message na kami ti Facebook page na Northside Doctor Hospital Advanced Wound Care Clinic. Anya pa lang terorayom, ikam ti chance sa tasugat mo nga lumaing babaen ti Advanced Wound Care Clinic.
As the heritage province of the North reopens to tourists, it launches the all-new Tour Ilocosur app. A quick guide to Ilocosur at your fingertips. Find the best tourist spots. Hotels. Bars and restaurants. and authentic Ilocos Sur products and food. Be updated on upcoming events, plus get notified on the important announcements and updates. Available for global download on Android and iOS. The Tour Ilocos Sur app. Historical becomes digital.
I now wish to introduce U.S.-Philippine Society Co-Chair and Ayala Corporation Chairman, Jaime Augusto Zobel de Ayala.
First of all, good evening, President Marcos. So nice to have you here, sir. And together with my U.S.-Philippine Society co-chair, Ambassador Negroponte, and our society members, we congratulate you on the successful trilateral leaders meeting with President Biden and Prime Minister Kishida. Congratulations, Mr. President. The meeting is proof of the strong relationship between our three countries and the shared commitment towards a free and open Indo-Pacific region. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank you for your presence here tonight, Commerce Secretary Gina Raimundo and Secretary of the Navy Carlos Del Toro, Deputy Secretary of State Kurt Campbell, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the Philippine and U.S. Secretaries, senators and members of Congress of both the Philippines and the United States, colleagues, friends from the business community, and organizations represented here tonight. A pleasant evening to all. On behalf of the U.S.-Philippine Society and together with Ambassador Romualdez and the Philippine Embassy, we're delighted to host this business reception in honor of President Marcos after a historic meeting at the White House yesterday. Thank you to all of you for making time to be here tonight and for your tremendous support and continued engagement with the U.S.-Philippine Society. It is certainly a pleasure to be with you all here at this remarkable gathering of advocates of a strengthened bilateral ties between the United States and the Philippines. Over the past 2 years, engagement between our two countries has increased exponentially. Just 2 weeks ago, Secretary Blinken made his second visit to Manila, right after we at Ayala had the pleasure of hosting Commerce Secretary Raimundo as she successfully led the Presidential Trade and Investment Mission. These engagements are a testament to the enduring partnership that we have built over generations based on shared democratic values and a special relationship between our two nations. We're also looking forward to the upcoming hosting of the 6th Indo-Pacific Business Forum in Manila. We see this as an excellent opportunity for both government and private sector leaders to share insights and explore opportunities and solutions to support infrastructure in the region's emerging economies. There is also an increasing engagement with the Indo-Pacific Partnership for Prosperity and exploring how this can be a platform for equitable progress. I'm honored to be part of this noteworthy initiative. To our friends from the United States, the Filipino members of the U.S.-Philippine Society are your trusted partners in seeking and cementing opportunities in the Philippines. We work in tandem with the American Chamber of Commerce, the U.S. Embassy in Manila, and our Philippines Embassy here in Washington, D.C. We're happy, of course, to provide you with complete assistance should you have any interest in exploring opportunities in the Philippines. As Society Co-Chair, I'm committed, along with my fellow members, to support the aspirations of the U.S.-Philippine Society and the broader relationship between our two countries, whether in the economic sphere or in further strengthening the already solid people-to-people ties between the United States and the Philippines. Thank you, and I look forward to a great evening with you all. Mabuhay.
To give his remarks, U.S.-Philippine Society Co-Chair, Ambassador John Negroponte.
Thank you, Jaime Augusto, and welcome as the new Philippine co-chair of the U.S.-Philippine Society. You have big shoes to fill. We really appreciated the work of Manny Pangilinan for more than a decade, but we're delighted that you have decided to take on those responsibilities, and I very much look forward to working with you. Mr. President, welcome. Secretary Raimundo, Secretary Del Toro. First, let me acknowledge the principal sponsors of this presidential dinner, the S&C Electric Company, the Ayala Corporation, with important additional support from I Squared Capital. Thank you very much. I'm delighted to join U.S.-Philippine Society Co-Chair Jaime Zobel in welcoming you all this evening as we honor President Marcos and mark a critically important time in the relationship between our two countries. Mr. President, we appreciate your support for the Society's work and value our partnership with your administration, including with your embassy here in Washington, so capably led by Ambassador Romualdez. Co-Chair Jaime, let me thank you and your team once again on behalf of the Society's directors and members for your leadership and for demonstrating that the Society's success as a premier organization linking the United States and the Philippines lies in its binational character, composition, and commitment. Emblematic of those strong and enduring ties is the presence tonight of former ambassadors to the Philippines, U.S. ambassadors, with whom I am honored to be associated. Frank Wisner, Tom Hubbard, Christy Kenny, and Sung Kim. Let's give them a round of applause for their, and yes, I mentioned Tom. I was looking at you and I want to be sure I'd mentioned you. Their continuing interest in and support for the relationship speaks volumes about the lasting impressions the Philippines and its people has made on these Americans and so many others here with us. And there's no other way to do this, so I'm going to do it now. It's a little bit of an administrative statement, but we'd like to have a collective photo with all the former ambassadors after the dinner. Ambassador Carlson made that very helpful suggestion, and so look, if you can all gather around here when we break up, I'd be most appreciative. Of course, these former diplomats would be the first to recognize that the breadth of strategic, economic, and people-to-people ties has never been wider and more consequential than today. And we are indeed fortunate to have Ambassador Mary Kay Carlson at the helm, with the gears of the relationship, to use her words, in hyperdrive. Mr. President, we salute your strategic vision of a secure, free, and peaceful Indo-Pacific, capped this week with a historic trilateral commitment to that vision. At the same time, we recognize the impressive strides made by the Philippine economy under your leadership after emerging from the pandemic and facing other severe global challenges. I have heard you say that economic security is national security, reflecting the importance you attach to promoting trade and investment ties. Well, I'm happy to introduce the United States Secretary of Commerce, Gina Raimondo, who I am confident shares that view. Secretary Raimondo took the lead in organizing the Presidential Trade and Investment Mission to the Philippines in March and is widely recognized as playing a central role within the administration here in supporting stronger and mutually beneficial commercial and investment ties with the Philippines. Madam Secretary, congratulations on your successful mission last month. We are delighted that you've been able to join us tonight to meet with government and private sector leaders from both countries and sustain the momentum generated from your leadership on U.S.-Philippine trade and investment. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Secretary Gina Raimondo.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you. It's so wonderful to be here. I have to say, of course, it's an honor to be with you, President Marcos. Thank you for all that you're doing and your leadership and really leaning into the U.S.-Philippines relationship. I will say President Marcos was unbelievably gracious and generous to me and to our team when we were there last month, and I want to personally thank you for that. I think I can speak for all of us on the mission that we were blown away with your engagement and thoughtfulness, graciousness, and just ability to listen and engage with us to deepen our relationship. It's a credit to you as a person and to your leadership, so thank you. And of course, to the co-chairs, Ambassador Negroponte and my friend Jaime, thank you both for all of the work that you have done and that you are doing and will continue to do. And to everyone's here, my secretary and my colleagues in government, thank you for being here. We did have, as you said, a fantastic mission, presidential mission to the Philippines. It was actually the first U.S. presidential mission to the Philippines. So it was quite a historic mission that we had, that I had the honor of leading. And we brought with us 22 U.S. companies and organizations. Their work spanned everything from technology to clean energy, renewable energy, digital informations technology, logistics, and transportation. I see a few of you here this evening. It was quite the group that we brought. We announced more than $1 billion of investment, and to a person, everyone on the visit with me said they want to do more in the Philippines. To a person. And you know, once again, it's no exaggeration to say that the mission was so successful because of the deep and active involvement of President Marcos and his team. Your team was incredible, giving us the access that we needed and enabling us to not just have a great lunch and great meal, but excellent working sessions that I know will bear fruit. In fact, it's only been a month since we met in Manila, but we're already, so you don't have to take my word for it, the facts prove out my excitement. 1 week after we left Manila, UPS, big American company, announced a deal, huge deal, with the Luzon Airport Development Corporation to significantly expand its already sizable operations in Clark Airport. That's the first of what I predict will be a steady stream of announcements coming out of that visit. And I think that I've teased the participants that UPS went first, so who's next? But I do expect that there will be a steady stream. I also want to say, and this was mentioned before, I'm grateful to President Marcos and his team's work to promote a free, secure, and open Indo-Pacific. We're at an inflection point. The President and I were just talking about this. The Indo-Pacific is a critical part of the world, some of the most dynamic and fastest growing economies in the world, 40% of the world's GDP, and yet it's a challenging neighborhood. You live in a tough zip code for openness and freedom. All the more reason that we support you and that we strengthen the U.S.-Philippines relationship. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to be at the historic trilateral meeting between President Biden, President Marcos, and Prime Minister Kishida. They came together for the first ever U.S., Philippines, Japan trilateral summit. And it was, I think the President would agree, and my counterpart, Secretary Pascal, would agree, it was a very successful meeting. Because President Biden was crystal clear. We support the Philippines, we support Japan, we are going to be good on our commitments to security and safety in that region, and we look forward to further engaging in the economies of the region, strengthening our supply chains, strengthening our critical minerals partnership, strengthening our relationships as it relates to semiconductors and training and a resilient supply chain. The more we work together, the stronger we are and the less vulnerable we are, all of us, to economic coercion of another party. So, to that end, I'm very much looking forward to the Investor Conference in June of the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. It'll be an opportunity for the Philippines to show off all your great projects and for me to help you get investment in those projects, which I'm ready to do. And of course, as was said, we're absolutely thrilled that President Marcos agreed for the Philippines to co-host the Indo-Pacific Business Forum in Manila in May. That's going to be a very significant event. In fact, that forum will be one of the U.S. government's premier public-private events to promote trade and investment between the U.S. and our Indo-Pacific partners. So the wind's at our back. The wind is at our back. Our intentions and our interests are aligned, and now it's time to execute. It's follow-up and execution. And on behalf of the United States, I can tell you we will absolutely do our part. And I have no doubt that under your leadership, Mr. President, the Philippines will do more than your part. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being a fantastic host. Mabuhay. And with that, I will turn it over to Ambassador Romualdez, or as we know him, Babe.
Thank you. Secretary Raimundo, that's very nice of you. Thank you for calling me babe. Well, friends, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of friends here, and it's nice to see our friends, former ambassadors are all here. Ambassador Kenny, Sung Kim, and of course, Tom. Thank you for being here. The President's very glad to see you, of course. Begging your indulgence, Mr. President, before I turn over the microphone to you, allow me first to express my sincere appreciation to Ambassador John Negroponte and Mr. Jaime Sobel de Ayala, the co-chairs of the U.S.-Philippine Society, for graciously hosting and organizing this dinner, which is a fitting cap to the successful and historic visit of the President and his delegation over the past 2 days. Again, let me acknowledge and thank the presence of Secretary of Commerce Gina Raimundo, who led a very successful presidential investment and trade mission to the Philippines last month, and of course our dear friend, the Secretary of the Navy, Carlos del Toro. Gracias. Introducing our President has always been very special for me and a great honor for me, and I know he won't believe me, but this is the 4th time I'm going to be doing this because he has been here 4 times, and I am extremely ecstatic and lucky to have a president who comes and visit your post 4 times. So thank you very much, Mr. President, for giving me this opportunity to introduce you again. And most of us in this room who are already closely following the developments in the bilateral relations between the Philippines and the United States will see the remarkable progress that has been made since the President's inauguration almost 2 years ago. Our President has definitely played a crucial role, if not the main role, in elevating our relations through his engagements with President Biden and senior government officials. American business leaders and representatives of the civil society, including non-profit organizations such as the U.S.-Philippine Society, is an example. And as ambassador, I was always privileged to welcome President Marcos and accompany him in his delegation on 4 important visits to the United States in the less than 2 years ago. In New York, San Francisco, and now for the 2nd time here in Washington, D.C., for this historic trilateral summit between the leaders of the United States, Philippines, and Japan. It is therefore, once again, my great honor and privilege to introduce His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., President of the Republic of the Philippines.
Well, thanks, first of all, to Babe for your very kind introduction. I said it earlier today, is proof of how good a diplomat Babe Romualdez is, that he said how happy he was to be, for us to be visiting. But I suspect the truth of the matter is he can't wait to see the back of us now, and to watch that plane fly away. But whatever he went through, it has certainly been worth it. As it has been a remarkable 2 days. I'd like to greet, of course, our friend, U.S. Secretary of Commerce, Gina Raimundo, who, as the other previous speakers have mentioned, led a very important delegation. First, because of the nature of it, it was the first ever presidential delegation organized by President Biden and his offices, and which was a remarkable event for us. And even more importantly, was how much work got done. And I have to commend you, Madam Secretary, because the delegation that you organized was very much on point. The people that came were in the sectors of the economy that we prioritized. And I think that's why we were able to prepare very well, because we were already having these deep discussions on those certain areas. So, and that's why I think, as you were saying, that a good deal of work was done, and I'm happy that it was so successful, and we await the continuing stream, as you describe it, to the Philippines. The U.S. Secretary of the Navy, Secretary Carlos Del Toro, the co-chairs of the U.S.-Philippine Society, well, of course, our the good ambassador, Ambassador John Negroponte, and now our newly minted co-chair, Jaime Augusto Sobel. We have here also the Speaker of the House, Speaker Martin Romualdez. There are members of my cabinet that I have come with me. I'd like to make, of course, a special greeting to the former ambassadors to the Philippines. Well, we are awaiting your return for our private visit. Every time an ambassador leaves us, they promise and they say, well, when we have time, I'd like to come back here for a holiday without work. We're still waiting, but we're ready. We're ready for you. I think Senator Francis Tolentino, there you are, is also with us, and certainly our partners from the private sector, the distinguished guests who have joined us this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'd like to first thank the U.S.-Philippine Society, who has worked very hard over the past few weeks to organize tonight's event. The U.S.-Philippine Society has been a close partner of the Philippine government, particularly through its close relationship with our embassy here in Washington, D.C., and a staunch supporter of promoting Philippine-American bilateral relations, but especially to promote economic cooperation and business collaborations, as well as people-to-people exchanges. I am particularly pleased to see among the guests here tonight a good number of Filipino and American business leaders, as well as other prominent personalities in their respective fields, as I hope the connections that are made and renewed tonight will lead to even more engagements in the future. Let me also thank our ambassador to the United States, Ambassador Babe, for his thoughtful introduction and also for the embassy's tireless efforts to prepare for this visit. I know how much work we give you, but I can say without fear of contradiction, it was all very much well worth it. So for this visit, this is a follow-up to the last visit that I came to the United States, which was a bit about 11 plus months ago. And for you following the developments in our relations with the United States, this visit is not at all surprising. During Secretary Blinken's visit to Manila last month, the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Ricky Manalo, aptly described our relations as being on hyperdrive for quite some time. Increased business sector linkages and people-to-people exchanges have matched the accelerated pace of our engagement across all levels of government and of society. From defense and security, to trade and investment, and further still to food security, energy security, our transition to clean and renewable energy, combating climate change, digital transformation, infrastructure development, humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, And that is not the complete list. And this just demonstrates the nature of the relationship between our two countries. I was once asked how I would describe the relationship between the U.S. and the Philippines. And for some reason, the word that came into my head was it's dense. We are engaged at every facet of human contact, in every way, as family even, as friends, as workmates, as allies. I don't think that there is a part of the experience of a sovereign nation that is not touched by the relationship between our two countries. And so these are the issues that we have of mutual concern, to promote the well-being of our peoples, to further deepen the ties between our two countries. When we take a look at the remarkable progress we have made in our defense and security cooperation, from the largest iteration of the Balikatan exercises that are about to start right now. The Balikatan, for those who have not heard of them, are the joint exercises between the Philippines and the United States. And we do this annually. And it is part of the Mutual Defense Treaty. And the Balikatan, which we are undertaking presently, there are some pre-events. The formal start is not yet, is in a couple of days. But it is going to be the largest, most extensive, and will cover more more areas, especially in terms of interoperability than ever was before. Now we have also established the bilateral defense guidelines, and of course the expansion of the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA, from the original 5 sites to now 9 sites. It would be quite easy to see that we are in a good place as far as our alliance is concerned. And for me, this means that our alliance matters. It matters because our increased and intensified defense and security engagement with the United States means that we are significantly contributing to our country's ability to defend our security and address the threats in at least 3 ways. Through the U.S. assistance to and support for our armed forces modernization program. Second, through frequent joint exercises, training resulting in enhanced interoperability and honing the skills of our 2 militaries. And third, through increased deterrence by highlighting the strength of that alliance. We cannot rest our laurels. We have done well. We have come a long way. I think that we have responded in a proper and measured way to the challenges that have been put before us. But we cannot sit back and say that the mission accomplished quite yet. The nature, the intensity, and the potential disastrous consequences of the security threats facing us today necessitate that we work harder and continuously improve. I am reassured, though, by the groundwork laid by our officials for the future direction of our alliance, including the development of the Security Sector Assistance Roadmap, as well as the signing of the General Security of Military Information Agreement, both of which, I'm told, are very close to conclusion. I am further reassured by the commitments made to me by President Biden and his officials that the U.S., the United States, will stand by the Mutual Defense Treaty, which has been described from the President down as ironclad. Another key pillar in our relationship is, of course, economic cooperation. I have said on several occasions, including here in Washington, D.C., that economic security is national security. For the Philippines, A critical component of economic security is nurturing and growing our economic partnerships with the global community. Economic cooperation with the United States is, of course, a priority. It is paramount to the Philippines. I have the good fortune to undertake this visit on the heels of a highly successful presidential trade and investment mission to the Philippines by Commerce Secretary Gina Raimundo last month. Secretary Raimundo, as she has described, has headed a delegation of 22 prominent American businesses and nonprofit organizations in ICT, infrastructure, energy, logistics, financial services sectors. According to the Department of Commerce, the U.S. Department of Commerce, the mission has generated over $1 billion in American investments and concrete projects in the Philippines, creating educational and career opportunities for an estimated 30 million Filipinos. The PTIM was the first high-level trade and investment mission from the United States during my administration, and I am confident that it will not be the last. As I mentioned to President Biden yesterday, there are still a lot of opportunities to enhance our trade and our investment relations. In particular, the Philippines is actively seeking American partnership in critical minerals, where we aim to move up from the upstream to the midstream in battery production, even as we ensure the sustainability of resource extraction and secure the supply chain for these critical minerals. Other areas in our priority list that we believe will bring great opportunities for economic cooperation with the U.S. are clean energy, particularly nuclear energy, especially as we look to provide affordable and reliable energy sources for the entire country to power our industries, the digital economy, semiconductors, and critical infrastructure. Regarding infrastructure, we are excited about participating in the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment to help attract high-quality investments to the country. These are, and there are, of course, other areas whose potential we are also looking into. But let me just highlight that in our conversation with both the U.S. government and the business community, we have showcased ongoing and future economic reforms that we intend to implement in the country to create a welcoming and attractive environment for greater investment from our international partners, and that includes, of course, the United States. Of course, the headliner of this visit is the trilateral summit between the Philippines, Japan, and the United States, which I attended yesterday with President Joe Biden and Prime Minister Kishida. As I told my American and Japanese counterparts yesterday, the summit is a testament not only to the strength of our respective bilateral relationships, but also to our firm commitment to expanding these relationships into new directions and creating new synergies as we address critical challenges and work toward uplifting the lives of our peoples. We agreed on a joint vision statement on our meeting yesterday as a roadmap for the future. The trilateral cooperation, the statement covers diverse areas, from greater maritime domain awareness and Coast Guard cooperation to sustainable critical infrastructure, semiconductor supply chain resilience, digital transformation, energy security, harnessing renewable and clean energy. Indeed, our trilateral defense and security cooperation builds upon our respective bilateral defense and security ties. The Philippines and Japan are close allies of the United States, and in recent years, there has been remarkable progress in Philippines-Japan defense and security relations. Once we conclude the reciprocal access agreement with Japan, similar to our visiting forces agreement with the United States, we will witness even greater engagement amongst our three armed forces. Nowhere is progress in this area more important than in the maritime domain. It is no secret that Japan and the Philippines are involved in maritime and territorial disputes, not with each other, but with other parties. While the United States is not a direct party to these disputes, both its treaty obligations to come to the aid of the Philippines and Japan in case of an armed attack by a third party, as well as its commitment to uphold freedom of navigation and a rules-based order in the seas, means that the U.S. has vital interests in East and South China Seas. It is therefore of particular importance for our three countries to work closely together on maritime-related issues, including the broader areas of maritime safety and security, maritime domain awareness, maritime environmental protection, and other issues, as these are part and parcel not only of our respective national security interests, but also because cooperation in this area contributes significantly to regional peace and stability. However, peace and stability require another lifeblood to endure. I cannot overemphasize the importance of building a secure, inclusive, and interconnected economy for our nations and the region to provide the prosperity and security of our peoples. Through deeper cooperation, we bring concrete investments and projects to the Philippines today, not tomorrow, to help us achieve our goals. We are working with the US, with Japan, to establish the Luzon Corridor under the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment to support high-quality investments in the country and to ensure inclusive and resilient progress. This includes enhancing the transportation of goods and services in strategic hubs, developing food security and agribusiness, securing semiconductor and critical mineral supply chains, clean energy. It is a monumental project, and we aim for nothing less than transformative and sustainable. As we advance deeper into the digital era, we will ensure our connectivity infrastructure and workforce are ready for a robust digital economy. Together with the US and Japan, we are building a digital landscape that is secure, reliable, and accessible. These cyber bridges we are building will not only connect islands within our archipelago, but will connect the entire country to the global digital market. Lessons from the pandemic and recent geopolitical developments compel us to secure global supply chains, especially in the semiconductor industry, where the Philippines is ready to participate and to absorb the additional capacity necessary to future-proof the semiconductor value chain. Working with our allies, especially Japan and the United States, is necessary to protect our interests. In support of this goal, we are exploring trilateral cooperation to build a resilient semiconductor industry, including opportunities to upskill the Philippine labor force. The key to achieving progress is also energy security. As we transition to clean energy as a responsible step to combat the effects of climate change, the Philippines will need ambitious programs, nuclear energy in our energy mix. With the help of partners such as US and Japan, we are moving closer towards our nuclear energy ambition. Our goal is to provide reliable, affordable, secure energy for the entire country to sustain the inevitable growth that is now within our grasp. As I return to the Philippines tomorrow, I will bring the good news to our people that our alliance with the United States has become stronger, bolstered by our economic engagements, close people-to-people ties, and reinforced by our growing friendship and cooperation with like-minded partners in the Indo-Pacific region like Japan. More importantly, I bring home the commitment from our three countries to sustain the momentum of this increasingly close partnership in the years to come, all for the benefit of our people and for the security of our region. Thank you and good evening.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Friday afternoon, so it must be President Marcos of the Philippines. Well, welcome to the Chamber, Mr. President. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you and so many senior officials with you. We appreciated your generosity with your time, not just today, but at the event at the Blair House in May last year and at UNGA in September. Also want to thank and recognize Ambassador Romualdez and his team with whom we have such a tremendous partnership. Ambassador Babe is a great friend of the business community and really appreciate all your support and good work. Also want to thank our partner in crime, the U.S. ASEAN Business Council, and Ambassador Ted Osius. Thank you for all the work you do. Want to recognize others around the room, including Ambassador Mary Kay Carlson, who is on the shuttle from Manila to D.C. these days. We really appreciate at the Chamber the emphasis that the U.S. government has placed on the Philippines. Security issues obviously have been a big part of that conversation, but just the fact that Secretary Raimondo led what we saw as a very useful trip last month to Manila, and a couple of weeks prior to that, having her and others here at the Chamber for a discussion about Philippine opportunities, trade and investment opportunities has been really quite positive. We want to encourage more of these activities, which are important in highlighting, not just the terrific partnership that exists between the United States and the Philippines, but the obvious opportunities for greater integration, greater activity. The U.S. has traditionally been one of the largest, if not the largest foreign investor in the Philippines. With the reform process further moving forward, we're anticipating greater opportunities and greater investment. Trade is a little different. We haven't seen the huge burgeoning of impact that we expected to see as a result of the trade frictions with China. We haven't seen the increase in trade activity with the Philippines that we have expected to see, but I think no doubt, given the reform process, that will change. The untapped potential is tremendous, and for those of us who have been part of and watched the U.S.-Philippine relationship for many years, the fact that we have not got a more robust partnership is a bit of a head scratcher. So lots to do and very encouraging conversations this week and encouraging conversations that are taking place. Next month in Manila, the U.S. ASEAN Business Council and the Chamber will be present for the Indo-Pacific Business Forum, and we look forward to seeing those of you that are able to attend. A good opportunity. Let me turn to a couple of our key sponsors and members of this august group. Let me start with Marcus Jadat, Vice President at Google.
Thanks so much. Good afternoon, Mr. President, your distinguished delegation. It's an honor to be with you this afternoon and an honor to help to welcome you and your team to Washington. I'm Marcus Jadat. I'm Vice President and Global Head of Cloud Government and Public Policy at Google. Google's very proud to have been a part of the investment story in Philippines now since 2013. And obviously that is just over a decade, but a long time in terms of our history at Google, a 25-year-old company. We're very proud of the jobs that we've created and the opportunities that we have created across our our products from search to Google Maps, YouTube, and Android. Very proud of your presence, Mr. President, on our YouTube platform as well. We've also focused on growing our presence and investment in the Philippines, working closely with Filipino businesses and the public sector in their digital transformation journey through Google Cloud, Google Ads, and more recently with our largest and most capable AI model, Gemini. We're deeply encouraged by the flourishing relationship between the U.S. And the Philippines. Charles mentioned the recent trade mission led by Secretary Raimondo. We were very honored to be a part of that mission recently. As we enter an era of AI, the AI era, which is powered by cloud computing and digital infrastructure, a technology positive regulatory framework and national policies that champion technology that are focused on fortifying the public sector and promoting investment is critical. Google commends the government of the Philippines on the National Cybersecurity Plan, the Build Better More Infrastructure Development Program, and the government's increased adoption of cloud and hyperscale technologies. We're proud to work with DICT to provide Google Workspace, enabling thousands of public sector employees to work more efficiently and more collaboratively in a secure email environment. Workspace for Education has also been a critical contributor to the education of millions of Filipino students and supporting teachers, especially during the pandemic. Earlier this year, Mr. President, Google's cybersecurity experts notified your government of threat actors attempting to infiltrate government systems. Through intelligence sharing like this and cybersecurity upskilling efforts with the department, we hope to be a key partner in implementing the National Cybersecurity Plan. This year, we look forward to new policies from the Government Procurement Policy Board to enable faster, more efficient, and cost-effective ways for government agencies to adopt better and more secure cloud technologies. Mr. President, we very much look forward to working with you and your team to realize your digitalization mandate. Again, honor to be with this group and really appreciate the Chamber bringing this large group of American investors together with this delegation. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus. Let me turn, Mr. President, if I may, to Imelda Martinez, the chairman of IMSG, before turning over to Ambassador Romualdez.
Naim magkamalim yung Apo President, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am Imelda Martinez, Chairman and President of IM System Group, leading the U.S. Defense and Aerospace Company, specific in expertise in remote sensing, geographic information system, information technology, and geophysical, marine, and atmospheric science and technology. Mr. President, today I'm wearing multiple hats. As a chairman of IMSG, as well as a U.S. ASEAN Business Council chair of the U.S. ASEAN Business Council Defense and Committee, but on this occasion, importantly, as a proud Filipino-American working to build strong and good ties that bind the two nations that I love dearly. President Marcos, I congratulate you for all that you have done in improving the U.S.-Philippines bilateral relationship in so many fronts. I note in appreciation your leadership and your government for the standpoint commitment to improving the Philippines' investment, climate, and sustaining economic growth. Your commitment to attracting investment through economic reform, such as amendment to the Public Service Act, the Foreign Investment Act, and the retail trade, it is this reform along the infrastructure program that is doing business by removing barriers while sending the message of the strong dedication to fostering economic expansion. On behalf of the American private sector, I thank you for being our champion. In your presidency, the Philippines becomes Southeast Asia's fastest growing economy, driven by consumption, service, and investment expansion. Now, in 2024, Philippines has vibrant economy, strategic location, and pro-business policies, and such the country growth potential is undeniable. And this is the key reason why IMSG, under my leadership, is committed to investing in the Philippines. In my heart, I believe that combining American capital and technology with the driven and innovative Philippines workforce is a recipe to sustain success. In other words, Mr. President, count on us. We are all in. I hope and note and the wholehearted endorsement from me inspire other leading American companies to follow suit. By the way, when the FDI start flowing, I want to expect a commission, but maybe you can invite me for a tea at Malacanang Palace next time I come to Manila. Your presidential advance team was kind enough to offer me an opportunity to introduce you this afternoon, but I thought there is no other place in this room to carry out the honor to my dear friend, Ambassador Babe Romualdez, the finest diplomats and tireless advocate in the Philippines in Washington, D.C. And no, Mr. President, he didn't pay me to say that. Ambassador Romualdez, thank you truly deeply for all you do, and importantly, for the kindness you have shown me and my late husband, Vince Hom, the founder of IMSG, and the IMSG family. Ambassador, the floor is yours, but plus a minute to Mr. President, Agyamanak, and Diyos te kumuyog kenka. Maraming salamat po. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Melda, for that. Well, I just want to say that I am one of the luckiest ambassadors here in Washington, D.C., because how often does your president come and visit? This is the 4th visit of our president, so I am indeed very lucky. And so it is my distinct honor to introduce our president, Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., President of the Republic of the Philippines.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Babe Romualdez. He is a true diplomat because the fact of the matter is, I'm sure he can't wait to see the back of us, to settle back down to his normal days, together with his wife, another good friend of ours, Dudes. But thank you for the introduction. The President and CEO of the U.S.-ASEAN Business Council, Ambassador Ted Osius, Senior Vice President for Asia at the Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Charles Freeman. We have here with us the Speaker of the House of Representatives of the Philippines, Speaker Martin Romualdez. Also accompanying us are several cabinet ministers who have joined me for specifically, actually, because the main purpose of my visit this time was to formalize a trilateral agreement that we did yesterday with the U.S., Japan, and the Philippines. But nonetheless, they have accompanied me for this specific reason to be with you here today. I'm sure that you will get to meet them later on. Our very important and full partners in transformation of our economy, those of you from the private sector, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Allow me to express my gratitude for the notable participation of all of those who have been part of organizing this business forum. So these have been very important for the Philippines, and we have taken the Philippines on a roadshow in the past 2 years, and this has been very productive for us, and so we are very happy. And we thank all those who have been part of who have played a part in organizing this business forum here today. Of course, we must also once again speak to our private sector partners. I'm accompanied by some of the most prominent business leaders from the Philippines. And I'm going to, again, I think we will be, during our discussions, you will be getting to meet them all. Once again, we are here today to discuss what are the possibilities and what are the options on the
Apa-apo ganiti makay ayo abuya iti